After another cycling death in the capital, there are renewed calls for curbs on large vehicles being driven in London. Today's victim died when she collided with a tipper truck in Victoria this morning. The woman in her 30s is the fourth cyclist to be killed this year. Now campaigners want better safety measures introduced, as Louisa Preston reports.
The horribly familiar scene, a London road cordoned off while police investigate the death of a cyclist. The woman in her 30s was hit by a lorry near this construction site in Victoria during this morning's rush hour. Witnesses said she was riding a Boris bike, which was crushed under the wheels of the tipper truck, and she died at the scene. Her death is the fourth this year involving a lorry, and campaigners say action is urgently needed to make London's roads safer.
We believe that these trucks are unfit for purpose. They're designed as off-road vehicles, and they work on construction sites and waste materials, and there should be a safer design of lorries in London. We put a challenge to the construction industry to have safer lorries where the driver is brought down low, where the driver's line of sight is where the cyclists, where the pedestrians are.
TfL said today that making the roads safer for cyclists is a top priority for them. They say they're spending £1 billion on improving the existing cycle superhighways. This death comes in the same week as police officers are patrolling junctions across the capital, talking to all road users about their behaviour.
Well, Louisa joins me now. And Louisa, where do we go from here?
Well, Alice, cycling in the capital is at record levels. Figures from Transport of London last month showed that cycling has actually grown by 10% in the last year. And it actually says that bicycles make up 16% of all traffic in the capital. And in peak times, that figure rises to 25%. Pretty interesting figures there. And it just adds more pressure, really, when we hear about another death today, which makes 4 this year, all involved in lorries. There are many questions being raised.
And we heard there in your report that there are calls now for curbs on lorries.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you may remember the whole safety around cycling came to the fore back in 2013 when there were the spate of 6 deaths in 2 weeks. Back then, the Olympic cyclist Chris Boardman called on Boris Johnson to actually ban lorries from being on London roads at peak times. At the time, the Mayor said that it would affect London's economy. He's now saying that after a public consultation last year, lorries without safety equipment on board are to be effectively banned from London streets, and that is actually coming into force at the beginning of September. Now we know that Boris Johnson is ploughing hundreds of millions of pounds into cyclists and creating lots of cycle superhighways. As we know, they've been very successful in Copenhagen. It will be just a matter of waiting to see whether they're that successful here in London with the volume of traffic that we have on the roads here in the capital.
Of course. Louisa Preston, thanks.